After I came back, there was news that there were a few people that died after staying there, after taking like alcohol from the
Alcohol
hostel.
poisoning,
Yeah, and then I stayed at the same hostel and drank the alcohol from that
gosh.
hostel and the same bar.
I'm the kind
Yeah.
that will walk through dark lanes to see if like there's anything going on. I want to see drug dealers. I want to see things happening. Yeah.
Okay, I
Because
mean,
it's
this
fun.
is
It is though.
I'm alone on this. It's so not fun at all.
No.
Welcome to another episode of Men Explain, where we air our truly unfiltered thoughts.
Yes, our unapologetic takes on different topics where we see the different perspectives from men and women. And today we'd like to introduce you to our two guests. We've got Rifqi and Jaedyn.
Welcome.
Hey, I'm Jaedyn. I am 21. I'm on a gap year, so I spend my gap year traveling and posting travel content on TikTok.
I'm Rifqi. I'm 24 this year, and I mainly do travel content and a bit of video freelance sort of thing.
Oh,
yeah.
So you kind of combine the two in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
So today we're talking about solo traveling, aside from the nice pictures, from the postcards that you bring back, what it's like, not just for me, but for a man and a woman as well. We got to ask you guys, where was the first place that you guys decided this is where I want to solo travel to?
I guess I'll kick it off. It wasn't exactly entirely solo. It was my post-poly grad trip.
Okay.
So I did go to the UK because one of my best friends from secondary school, she was going to study in the UK. So it's maybe I can go there and visit her. And at the same time, I didn't want to tell my folks, sorry, if they're watching this right now, sorry.
Sorry, uncle. Sorry, auntie.
It's more of I wanted to solo travel, but I think they'll feel safer if they knew that I was meeting someone there, And also I chose a destination that I had some family there. So I have some cousins who live in London. So if ever needed, I can just reach out to them. In that way, it was easier to get my parents to approve my travels.
Fair.
Especially at that age, when you just graduate from poly, you're a bit clueless.
Yep.
Maybe I've never even taken a flight on my own before, that kind of feeling, right?
Oh, yeah.
So naturally, it was a little intimidating because 13-hour flight alone, it was a mixture of hell yes! And oh man, I better be alert about my surroundings.
So how
That
long
was my
How long
first-
were you gone for?
I think that was 2 weeks. Probably it was quite long already for me. I was away from my family, yeah.
Rifqi, you?
For me, it was only this year that I started solo traveling.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Back in March, during the fasting month, I went to China. I went to this city called Xi'an.
Why do you pick Xi'an again?
I think it's mainly because of the fasting month. Just like it's a Muslim city, so it's easier for me to get around.
The Muslim quarter in Xi'an is very, very nice.
When I went there for the first time, I was kind of prepared because I've been to China before. But going there alone is a different feeling.
Can you speak Mandarin?
一点点.
A little. Yeah, I was just going to ask,
中文可以讲一点点.
it's really hard to get around without being able to
My
speak.
God.
Yeah.
I find it difficult to
Believe
get up.
me, I know that. How long were you gone in Xi'an for?
6 days.
6 days.
6
okay.
days, yeah.
I was 19 and I went to Thailand. But I chose Thailand because it was more of a backpacker hotspot. Not because I really want to see the place, but because I felt there'll be other backpackers and I'll be less alone and it'll be easier for me to make friends.
Which part of Thailand? How long?
I went to Bangkok, then Chiang Mai, then Pai. And then that took about 2 weeks, yeah.
Wow.
It sounds like you had to put in a lot of planning for that. Did you? Or was it more spontaneous for you?
I think planning in the sense of the route. So sometimes I buy one way because you move around the country and you may fly back from a different area. But I also am quite a lazy person. So sometimes I just land in Bangkok and then I ask the people at my hostel where are you going next? And they say Chiang Mai or Chiang Rai. And then I'm like, okay, I'll follow you. And actually I met some girls in Chiang Mai. So we went up to Pai together and then we stayed together for a week there. Yeah.
You see, but I want to ask this as well because obviously when you did this, it was years ago, right? You guys did this recently in the day of social media. When you guys were planning to solo travel, right? You all definitely went on TikTok or Instagram, what there is to do in the area and whatnot, right? When I solo traveled 10 years ago, my first 10-year ago trip, right? I booked a flight into Bangkok and back from Ho Chi Minh and nothing in between.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And back then, it was a day where we had no social media.
You have
right?
no point of reference.
Nothing.
But then again, I think there's a danger also of just following TikTok, Instagram recommendations. Because I feel a lot of it isn't what you think it is.
I think first of all, we need to ask whether it's AI or not.
Oh my god, now
I
it's
fell
so
for it
hard to
once.
tell. You fell for it
fell
once,
once.
really?
No, I
What
mean,
was it?
I saw this like war simulation video in China, and like people were going into war, like acting as if they were like the victim. And I was just like, wow, that's damn cool. So I posted on my social media, and then they were like, no way you fell for that. I went to look back at the content. I was like, oh shit, it's actually
Not
AI.
real. Oh
Yeah.
no. But if you fell for it,
I
tons
guess
of
other
people
people
would have.
can.
Yeah.
I guess when it comes to picking your first location, you did it because it was more a backpackers area, so you felt like it was easier.
Yeah,
Yours was
easier.
because more of a religious thing. It was easier for you to go there. So also was because you had people around as
Yeah,
well, right?
yeah,
But
generally.
I feel like a lot of people pick their first solo destination for many different reasons.
Yeah.
Mine was purely because I wanted to have an adventure.
But do you feel like it's easier for you to do that as a guy?
No, I was just gonna say that.
Yeah,
yes.
because one of the reasons why I picked a place where I definitely know that I can reach out to people to is because as a small Asian gal, it's a little scary. Like, honestly, I don't know if you feel the same way.
I do. Like, recently I went to an island in Indonesia.
Yeah.
What is it called? Gili Tea. And then, like, sometimes I'll just walk alone, and then there'll be, like, groups of men around, like, because it's just alleys, a very small island. And then they'll just catcall you, like, nobody's business, like, every step you go.
Yeah,
So if
yeah.
you're alone, it is quite scary to the point where, like, even other solo girl travelers I met there, they're like, okay, let's walk back together. We're not gonna... Yeah. And it's also a party island, so people go back drunk. So
Yeah.
it's not safe to be, like, not sober and then walking
And
back
not
like
aware
that.
of your surroundings. Yeah.
No, I completely agree. I feel very lucky that, you know, as a male traveler, and I mean Sons knows this, I've traveled to like really weird places as well. There's only been like 2-3 times in my life where I was like, oof, I'm in a dicey situation. But even then, I'm like, I don't really fear for much. Worst case scenario, I'm trying my best to defend myself. But I've met so many people, women as well, in hostels where they also get to know you and they're like, oh, can you go here with me because I'm afraid to go
Yeah,
alone,
yeah,
right? So I don't know
naturally.
whether or not you've met women on your solo travels that also feel that way.
Not really. Okay, I think for me it's a bit different because when I travel, I have my camera with me and everything. So I don't dare to stay in a hostel. So
Because you got expensive stuff with you. Yeah.
But in general, I think it's not as bad as how you guys like experience solo traveling because, like what Avery mentioned, if I were to be put in a situation, I still feel like I can fight back
Right.
of some sort.
So with that being said, right, I want to ask, what were your parents' first reaction when you said you're going to travel alone?
My dad didn't talk to me for a few days. And then I told my mom, like, now I'm 18, I can, like, book my own flight and go on a flight myself. And I literally told her, like, I don't care what you say, I'm gonna go. And then she met me one-on-one and she was like, because she's quite religious, she was like, I remove any prayer protection over you and all things like that. Like, it was quite serious. And then my relatives found out. And then they'll send me paragraphs of prayer. Like, they think I'm gonna die. Like,
What?
paragraphs on
As
WhatsApp.
in, were they trying to convince you not to do it?
I don't
or
know.
what was the...
I think so. I think at the
Yeah.
start, yeah. And then they gave up and then they were just like praying for me. And then when I came back, they were like, we're praying for you every single day you were gone and like things like that. Yeah. But I think now she's used to it. My parents are used to it already.
I think even if you bring it down to like home ground, right? For girls, if we stay up late all night clubbing, okay, sorry mom, sorry dad. Don't point at me. And you know, you still live in their household. And then you come back at like 7 a.m. in the morning. I will get hell for that already, okay? And it's like, I didn't even leave the country just yet. But I think to them, they're like worried sick to the point where they don't know whether you're okay. Like maybe we're partying and we got hurt somewhere or like you got too drunk, you know, all of the above, right? So even so, when you elevate it to the next level of traveling,
Yeah.
furthermore, if you're in a different time zone, oh my God, that probably has them worried sick. So I can empathize with our parents. Sorry to all parents on behalf of all of us.
I completely agree.
Right?
Did your parents say anything when you said you're gonna?
I think they were just more like 随便 because because I booked I booked my trip 2 days before the trip.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when I told them, they were more disappointed that I booked to Xi'an because they wanted to go to Xi'an also.
Well, but very very calm reactions. But also you're a bit older now,
Yeah.
right? I was
Yeah.
context is I'm the youngest of my family, right? And my siblings all never solo traveled before, and I was always the one that wanted to do this.
Yeah.
And then when I was 20 and I saved up a bunch of money from work, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go. I booked my tickets, didn't tell my parents, didn't tell my mom. And then like a week before I went, so I'm gonna be gone for a month next month. She goes, where are you going? I'm like, solo traveling. And she was like, what? Where are you
Oh
going?
no.
And I was like, I'm going to Thailand. And then she went, only Thailand? I was like, no, I'm flying back from Vietnam. And
Oh,
she's like,
no.
what do you mean? So yeah, my mom was not happy because I came back with tattoos and she was like, oh.
Wait,
So-
I also.
Yeah, so I mean, context is Sons knows. All my tattoos are from the different countries that I've traveled to. So like every single tattoo is from a different country that I've been to.
Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
and it started off with just one. And my mom now, every time I travel,
She's like, where's the new one?
So she used to be like, did you get another one? I was like, yeah. She goes, why? Now she's like, hey, where is the other? See?
She's gotten used to it.
She's gotten so used to it at this point. So yeah. Okay, we're gonna ask you another question now because we talked about your first travel. But how often do you guys go on solo trips?
I think when I had school, I would go every 3 months because of poly holidays.
Yeah.
And then I also needed to save up. Now it's maybe every 1-2 months because of sponsored trips also. And like now that I'm on a gap year, I'm a bit bored. Like there's just nothing much to do.
As in, you're waiting for uni now, is it? Or-
Yeah.
Okay.
For me, I think once every 2 months. Yeah, but it also depends on like what Jaedyn mentioned, like whether got campaign or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a side note, I mean, when I was doing like a lot more travel content previously, right, I actually felt like I had a bit of fatigue traveling. So then when it came to planning like my own holidays, for example, I felt less motivated because you're already like traveling so much for work in a way that the lines have become so blurred. Has that ever affected you, or is still something new to you that you're having fun with?
Okay, for me, I try not to center my traveling around like content or anything. Like I always like really like touch my heart. I'm really going because I want to go.
Yeah.
I'm doing this because I want to. And then if a video comes out of it, it's good. So
It's a bonus.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't feel that fatigue. But I feel fatigue from traveling itself sometimes.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think for me, actually, okay, just for context, I just came back from Guangzhou just now, like 3 a.m.
Oh.
Yeah, and that trip itself, right, was actually like a slow travel trip for me. I was there to meet a friend. I was there for Canton Fair, and I wasn't as motivated. Yeah, I was just too tired to think about it. Yeah. So like when I went there, I had no plans other than my main agenda.
So just spontaneous
Yeah.
rest of the time.
I specifically like demarcate work travel and travel.
I noticed that you will slip off the grid.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not the kind that will like create 20 TikToks or
No.
like 20 videos to post on
Yeah.
Instagram, whatever.
For me, traveling has always been a privilege in my life,
Yeah.
right? Because growing up, I didn't have money to travel and
Likewise,
everything.
yeah.
And I think when I started saving up the money, getting a salary, I was like, why would I not want to enjoy my time overseas, especially when I'm solo traveling, right? And so I think for me, it's quite different when it comes to work. Like I feel fatigue, I get it, but then when I'm alone and I'm traveling, it's like no worries, no care.
Okay, so in that sense, like when you are taking on jobs and traveling and all that, like do your family members or your friends know exactly where you are and when? Do you update them like all the time, or do you just sort of say, I'm going to this location, and then you disappear for a little while?
My parents expect me to send them like my hostel location every time.
Same. Oh my god, yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, but I usually just send one and then I forget to reply. So like maybe every 2-3 days I'll get like panic calls from my mom like, are you okay? You have not replied us. Then I say like, look at my Instagram story I'm posting on Instagram.
Ouchie.
That's wild.
Oh,
The
no.
generation that we live
Yeah,
in,
it's
you
just
know,
like
my
that.
gosh.
For me, I'll only tell my parents. I won't tell my friends because I want to protect my peace. I don't want them to like, yeah. I'm so sorry.
It's the opposite.
I constantly update. I have to constantly update.
Right.
Even
Like,
now.
Even now, like no matter what stage of life I'm in, like
Right.
you will always be your parents' baby, especially because I'm the only kid, I'm a girl. So it's just the way it is.
My mom
Yeah.
gives no shits about where I go anymore, man.
You Brazilian jiu-jitsu too much lah. She's like, he'll be able to defend himself.
You know what? It's so funny that you said that because when I was in Sri Lanka recently, I was alone in Sri Lanka, and Sri Lanka is I wouldn't say the safest place, but it's not super dangerous as well, right? And I was telling them this story, and I was telling my mom, I was like, yeah, you know, like this person did this, da 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 da, and she went, so just fight them, ah. And I went, excuse me, what do you mean? She goes, yeah, you like to fight, what? And I was like, what's going on?
There's no lie there.
No,
okay.
but you see, the problem with this lies, right? Back to the fact that it's because I'm a guy.
Yeah.
If I put you, right, or Jaedyn in the same situation that I was in, it immediately becomes like 100 times more dangerous.
Yeah.
And y'all need to be 100 times more vigilant. And I always find it a huge privilege as a guy to be able to solo travel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, 100%. I think one of my biggest considerations also, if I have to solo travel, is it going to be Asia? Is it going to be UK, US? Like, would that be a consideration for safety? Like if you're solo traveling?
I did go to UK, but I went to visit someone, so not really solo. But I feel like there isn't a huge difference because when I'm in Asia, like backpacking, most of them are Caucasian, so it also feels like I'm in the UK anyway.
No, I disagree.
Different.
I disagree.
Yeah.
I mean, traveling for so many years and solo traveling for so long, right? When people are in another country versus their own country, I think it's very, very different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
actually, I think
Okay.
it's completely different because number one, political climate in some countries, like the US, for example.
Plus, I also say that that's their home ground, they're more comfortable with.
So actually, even though I've been to US quite a number of times, like my recent trip to LA, because of the political climate right now, we were a little concerned. We were a little like, okay, like Asians going about by
Yeah.
yourself, like, is it safe? And because my partner was going to be there for like some of his work stuff also, so there was a lot of time that I was going to spend alone, right? So he actually gave me something when I got there, and it was pepper spray, but in a bag charm. It was very cute. I was like, oh, cute. I can hang it on my bag.
But I think Germs did it like genuinely. It wasn't like as a
genuinely.
joke, right? It was like,
Yeah, but
use
you know
this
what the
to save
funny thing
yourself.
was? Like, I was worried that in the moment, if I actually had to use it, right, I will fumble and
You
I don't know how to
use,
use.
right?
Yeah. So I was like, I need to try it right now. Like, I need to try it. Yeah. But legit, I appreciated the gesture, and it was something that I would keep around with me if I were to be alone. Like, even my friend who lives in LA,
Carries around.
he didn't allow me to like walk back to the hotel myself. People actually,
They understand that it's an actual
understand.
risk.
yeah, it's an actual worry.
Speaking of risk, right, I want to ask you guys, do y'all have any situations that y'all have been traveling in, right, that y'all felt genuinely unsafe in?
I think it was a trip to Korea. This happened quite recent. I was walking down this alleyway at around 1 a.m. There were like two guys sitting at the side, two Korean guys. They're just talking to each other, and then they stared at me. So for me, I'm like, oh, stare, like whatever, lah, right? As I walked down, one of them threw their, the cigarette already done, lah, but they threw their
the butt,
cigarette,
yeah.
the butt onto me. So I continued walking, and then in my mind, I'm like, shit, if they were to come at me, right, I don't think I'll be able to defend myself because they look drunk. I think the aggressiveness of that is like times 5.
Yeah,
lah,
they're
actually.
fearless
Yeah.
in those moments. Yeah.
But luckily nothing happened. When I walked to the cafe, that's when they walked away lah.
Also, they actually followed you.
For a bit, I feel also
Wow.
a bit. Yeah.
Jaden, you?
I think the scariest one was a hostel I stayed in at Laos. Because after a few months after I came back, there was news that there were a few people that died after staying there, after taking like alcohol from
Alcohol
the
poisoning.
hostel.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I stayed at the same hostel and drank the alcohol
Oh
from
my
that
gosh.
hostel and the same bar. So I think that was like a close call. Like if I came a few months later, then it's like, yeah.
Have you ever had any?
Yes, in Amsterdam. So this was actually just my friend and I, like just two of us. And
Wait, female.
yes,
Okay.
yes, and we have zero self-defense knowledge. We actually underestimated like our phone data, network, battery, everything. Okay, so it was the end of the day, and my battery was out. I didn't have a portable. Her network wasn't really working. And we didn't understand like Dutch or anything at all. And we obviously couldn't have a GPS to like find our way to walk home. And at that point, like we were kind of wandering around into unsavory areas like dark alleyways and stuff. And we were like, how do we get out? Like everything looks the same, honestly, right? So eventually, we found this is so primitive. We found an internet cafe. So we sat down at the internet cafe, tried to charge our phone for a little bit, got online and like tried to map it out, and eventually managed to find our way back to our hostel. Thank God.
In hindsight, it's always like a now I know.
Yeah,
Kinda
but
thing,
you know,
right?
I wouldn't change it because
Exactly.
you won't rough it out now in this stage of life when you've already, you know.
Trust me when I say that
Yeah.
my back cannot take another hostel bit. Like, I'm too lazy to wrap up my mattress and carry it with me.
You want sometimes you want the finer things in life.
I just want
now.
somebody to make my bed. Really, I'm just too lazy
Facts.
for that. Yeah.
Facts.
So obviously the dangerous situations are one thing. But like you said, small Asian lady. Have you ever?
You make us sound like small ajuma.
That's what you said.
Tiny little ajuma.
I'm just quoting Sonia
I
Chu.
said small Asian gal. Small Asian lady sounds like,
Listen,
like a
you're old.
granny,
Don't
like
use
a
gal
ajuma.
anymore, okay? Have you ever experienced, for all of us here, any Asian hate when you travel alone? I've experienced it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've traveled a lot, and so like I said, you've been traveling alone for a long time, and when you experience it, right, your first reaction is like, I can't believe this is happening to me. Right?
In this day and age, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're
it still
like, there's
happens.
no way that this is happening to me. So, won't say which country, but it was a Western country.
Mm-hmm.
Walking down the street, me being me, late at night, just walking down alone. And out of nowhere, from across the road, a whole bunch of dudes just stop and start screaming across the road, "Oh my God, yellow!"
No way.
Yeah.
Wait, was this recent?
No, 5 years ago?
Oh,
and it
fine.
was one of you and a group of them.
It was one of me and a group of them. And in that moment, you're really wondering, like, do you react? Do you say anything? Like, do you
Right.
just walk? Like, if I don't react, am I admitting to that? Like, what do I do, right? But then it comes into all the years that I've traveled and all the years that I've, like, put into this, making sure that I am safe. I was like, suck your damn thumb, right?
And just walk
and
off.
just walk. And as you walk, right, they realize that you're not going to fight back. It becomes louder.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
But what I've learned is, and this is not just in-person racism or in-person aggression, right? Like even on social media, don't give them the reaction that they are looking for. Any reaction will get them even more riled up and they cannot wait to come and beat you or something, right?
No, I think it brings it back to Jaden's point of like, oh, so I've been around Caucasians, so I think in that country it's okay. If I don't think if the Caucasians were in Thailand, they would look at me and be like, oh, you're yellow because they're around.
They're in an
the
Asian
Asian
country,
country.
right? Yeah.
But when I was there, I was in their land and they were like, I can insult you. What are you going to do about it?
They
Right.
feel
A sense of power. lah.
Yeah.
It's a power trip.
a power trip for
And
sure.
again, not everybody is this way, but I am the kind that will travel to like unsavory locations just to test the theory.
This one is asking for it.
No, I am.
This is
No,
really asking
really.
for it.
I'm the kind that's like, oh, you tell me not to go there? I want to
or
go
like,
and see.
Hey, fire, let me touch.
Where? Yeah,
let me touch.
like literally late at night, I'm the kind
Yeah.
that will walk through dark lanes to see if like there's anything going on. I want to see drug dealers. I want to see
What
things
on
happening.
earth?
Yeah.
Okay, I
Because
mean,
it's
this
fun.
is
It is though.
I'm alone on this. It's so not fun at all.
No, but
being in those
anything else for you guys? Have you all ever experienced Asian, like any kind of like racism when you guys were overseas?
Okay, I feel like as a Chinese in Singapore, I don't really experience racism. So I cannot identify at the start. Like when people are when Caucasians are being racist to me, I can't tell that they're being racist. Like I think they're making like a funny joke. You know what I mean? I don't view it as
What
a
did they
harmful
say?
thing.
What did they say?
Like small things like konnichiwa, like things like that. I can laugh it off at first.
Oh.
Because it like racism has never been harmful to me, so I don't know like
Yeah,
the
yeah,
negative
yeah.
impacts, right? And then I met Asians that like lived in Germany, and then they would tell me like that's racist, that's harmful.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I think to a lot of people who are unfamiliar with countries in Asia or Southeast Asia especially,
Yeah.
they cannot tell the difference between us. Like
Yeah.
literally,
Yeah.
they could look at me or you and think they were from Taiwan or from Japan, or they will always identify the bigger Asian countries.
Yeah.
They will never know Singapore, Malaysia. They can't tell the difference between Singaporeans and Malaysians, firstly.
Yeah. But I would like them to be like, oh, where are you from? And then like say, or it's like whenever I
Oh.
speak to them, they're like, your English is so good. Why is your English
Oh
so
yeah,
good?
of course.
I
yeah.
also feel like
Natural
that is a
reaction.
bit like,
I don't think that's racism. I think that's ignorant.
okay, yeah, ignorant.
I think
I
they're
do
ignorant.
agree that the first one where they come up to you and if they do it in a way where it's insulting, like, oh, konnichiwa to you.
Yeah.
I do understand the racism part of that.
Okay, there was an incident when I was in the UK, and this is not representative of everyone there because obviously I like going to UK, family there as well. And yes, he also has family there. There was a couple of like college kids, guys, that did like slitty eyes at us. Yeah, they did that as we walked by. And I was like, really? Even now? Like, seriously? It still happens, but I'm not going to do anything about it. You can't really do anything as a solo person walking about, you know?
I feel like there's no point trying to retaliate.
Yeah.
It's like wiping the ocean with tissue.
Yeah.
It's just
Facts,
doesn't
yeah.
make any sense.
Especially when you're in someone else's country.
Yeah.
Not your home country, I guess. Like, how
Yeah.
do you... I don't know. It's a tough spot.
Tough.
It's a really tough spot.
Yeah.
Okay. Have any of these experiences changed the way that you travel?
My first solo travel, like I said, it was from Thailand all the way to Vietnam, and my goal was to travel with nothing.
Yeah.
So I bought no data. I literally bought a map.
I can't even read a map.
Yeah. So I had no data. I had a map. And the only time I used data was when I was in an internet cafe or
Yeah.
a cafe that had Wi-Fi
Yeah.
or my hostel. All the things that I've learned was how to be safer with money, how to identify danger, how to make sure that you identify scams, and making sure that at the end of the day, right, the people that you meet are people you can trust. And when I say people you can trust, right, it's like you don't just meet somebody for the first time and they're like, oh, let me help you do something. And you're like, okay. You know, you got to make sure that you're playing it very, very safe. Even as a guy, these are situations where you don't want to end up with a missing kidney.
Oh, wow.
Right?
That escalated
Yeah,
No,
very
it's true.
quickly.
It's
but
true.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have ever heard of these like warnings, right? When your parents or maybe your grandparents will say like, don't wander about like Thailand on your own. You're gonna get kidnapped to Chiang Rai and have to beg in the streets.
Like they cut your limbs off and make you beg on the
they'll
street.
cut your limbs off, make you beg. I'm like, oh my god,
But
okay.
it's a real thing.
It is,
Yeah,
yeah,
it
exactly.
is.
But
It's a
when
real
we were
thing.
kids or when we were younger, we were probably like, it's not gonna happen to us.
Yeah, but
But you read in the news.
you read it in the
sometimes-
news. No, but these are the things that you learn. Yeah. So like back to your question, it's really just all the experiences that we talked about
has helped you change the way you
and
travel.
now when I solo travel, right, I'm so much more like aware.
yeah.
And the first thing that I do is buy data.
Yeah, yes. No shit.
I'm
That's
like-
the number one thing that you should do.
I'm like, no more maps. I buy data and I make sure that I have a portable charger
I've
with
never
me.
been able to read a map, like, ever. So,
Okay, so let's say like after my first few times clubbing while solo traveling, I would like walk back alone and then people would catcall and then I would get scared. So after that, I kind of just try and meet people at my own hostel and be like, do you want to go here together? Or like, I think at the start, I would be very paiseh to approach people outside the club and be like, oh, are we staying at the same hostel? Do you want to walk back together? But now I would rather like not risk not take the risk. I would just really just go up to random people. Even if I see them on the street, like if I'm starting to walk back alone and I see a group of girls, I'll be like, are you also staying at this hostel? And then I join them and walk back together.
do you only approach girls usually?
Yes. Yes.
Because I would think it's a little scary if you like randomly told a guy or... Not to say that men are more dangerous than women.
I will stop you there and say that if you are a female solo traveling,
Do not
right?
approach random men.
Take the advice of yes, it is safer to speak to a woman than it is to
Oh, for
speak to a man.
for sure.
Do
Yeah,
not
yeah, yeah.
think that this guy is going to be my good friend. Like I said this to all my girlfriends who have wanted to solo travel before.
Yeah.
Trust the females more than you trust the males,
Mm-hmm,
right? Because you never know what their intentions are.
Yeah.
You never know how much alcohol they've consumed.
And you don't want to review like where you stay
Correct.
to
right?
randos.
So whatever you're doing is 100% right. Approach the females all the time. But as a young girl, right, and you've mentioned this already, you enjoy clubbing overseas.
Yeah.
How do you do it safely?
I think like even when choosing the hostel, I choose the party hostels where they host. You can see on those apps they put like pub crawl on Monday,
Yeah.
pub crawl on Tuesday. So I just sign up for those hostels.
Let me ask, is your hostel Mad Monkey?
Oh yeah,
I
yes,
knew
Mad
it.
Monkey before. Revolution Hostel also, and they're really good at making you mingle. Sometimes they specialize in like helping solo travelers make friends. So they start off with like pub quiz, music bingo, then people start dancing on the table, and then they're like, okay, now let's go to the bars, like that. So by the time I reach the first bar or the first club, I already met like,
You're, like,
a group of
warmed up,
people. Or you
yeah.
already know people here and there, so it's actually quite okay. And there's still the thrill of like these are new friends that I'm meeting. And technically I was alone, but now I'm not so alone. Yeah.
Have you kept friendships with these people that you met?
Yes.
Like a deeper friendship?
I think deeper friendship is a bit hard. I think like when we're living together for like 1-2 weeks, yes. But then after that, when they like go back into a completely different time zone, I think it's hard. I think it's hard. Yeah. But I still treasure like in the moment. We share the same lives, and like if they find someone cute, and then we can talk about it like as if we were growing up together. You know what I mean? Yeah.
In general, yes, I've made a lot of friends, and I'm someone who likes to treasure the friendship a lot. Yeah. So like it gets quite sad when I have to leave the country.
Oh, okay.
Right. But yeah, and I think some of them are my close friends online.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it's quite tough to just meet them in person because, it's not cheap. Yeah. As much as I get to travel for a living, it is still not cheap to travel.
The shittiest thing is when you meet friends who are like super far away and then they're always like, yeah, you should come and visit me. I'm like, oh, where do you live? Like, Iceland, Colombia, Brazil. And I'm like, you want to come to Singapore?
Yeah.
Expensive, Okay, let's jump to some Reddit stories
Yeah.
here, right? And we're going to take your opinions and your ideas of these stories, okay? So, during my first solo trip in rural Colombia, I got caught in a sudden mountain rainstorm, flooding everywhere, no phone signal, and I nearly broke my leg stepping into a hidden hole. It took me 2 hours to walk just a few hundred meters before a stranger offered me a ride. He didn't speak English, I barely spoke Spanish, and when he started asking if I had a boyfriend or a husband, I panicked, especially since he wasn't taking the usual route to town. Thankfully, it turned out fine. He dropped me safely and I paid him extra out of pure relief.
Man, this dude could have been a serial killer or something. Like, I might have the Capricorn in me would have sucked it up and walked back myself.
But you're injured, you would have just walked on
I will roll back. I don't know. I would rather take a long time and like take my time to find proper help than to accept a ride from a random stranger that could be a serial killer.
I have taken a free ride before, like after the club. And then it was just me and this female friend that I met. This was in Langkawi in Malaysia. And then this guy was like, oh, I can drive you back to your hostel. And then I was a bit tipsy already. She was also tipsy, but she agreed. So I just went with her. And then also she was at the front and I was at the back. And then there was like a big like trash bag with like cans inside. Which like, I don't know what's going on, but it made me more scared, right? Why? Yeah.
Maybe he's just really into recycling. Like,
yeah, but it was just so sus.
I love recycling.
And then the whole time he was asking like, are you gonna be here tomorrow? So I kept telling him to say yes because I feel like if we said yes, he'll be like, okay, I can kidnap them tomorrow instead. But like if we said like no, then he'll be like, now I have to kidnap them. Now's the chance. So like
I'm not sure.
so like you know what I mean? But we got back safely. Like nothing happened. Yeah.
Rifqi, you? What would you have done?
I think I'll go along with it. Kind of want to see what it's gonna do to me.
What?
No, as in okay. No. As in like
I'm
in it.
very concerned, guys.
No, you're not supposed to be smart solo travelers. What the are y'all doing?
As in I'm in it for the adventure.
Okay.
If at some point of time I sense and I trust my gut feeling, like if at some point of time I feel like it's not gonna go down well, or if not from the very beginning, if I look at him and this guy's very sus, then okay, I'm just gonna walk.
To be very honest, if this were me, I think I would actually go with Son's option.
Thank you.
Which
Finally,
is,
he agrees with me on something.
Yeah, because especially in a place like Colombia, it's not known to be the safest with the cartels and everything. You never really know what the situation
Okay,
is.
so then what do? We just walk until we find something, or we try to call for help? Or
No,
what?
so the rule of thumb, especially when in a rural area, is to make sure that you find a place that is crowded. When you're in a crowd, that's when you ask for help. You don't ask for help in a space where you don't have people around you.
I think this sort of just sidetrack. This leads back to the reason why sometimes I find myself spending a little bit more when I travel to be in safer areas. Just if I'm alone, like as a female.
It's 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, the money can be made back.
Yeah.
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 Okay, let's go to the next
Okay,
one.
next story here. As a mixed girl with curly hair, I somehow became a mini tourist attraction whenever I travel around Southeast Asia. On tours, I end up in so many strangers' photos. Once, a Vietnamese woman took selfies with me at every temple, and an Indian couple even asked for a photo with me instead of taking theirs. People often stop to touch or ask about my hair, if it's natural, how it curls that way, if they can feel it. It's always friendly and out of curiosity, but it's hilarious to think how many random travelers around the world now have photos of me in their albums. What do you think about this story?
I think it's cultural difference because a lot of like to us, Southeast Asia is home, right? But to a lot of Caucasians, a lot of Europeans, when they come to Southeast Asia, it's a completely different landscape. In Oman as well, when I was in Oman, the same thing. They will ask a lot of questions because it's a different culture. So I think for this person, it's really just a cultural difference. Yeah, right? She thinks that it's different, but I think people are just
Intrigued.
yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So after all this chat, is there one piece of advice that you would like to share with our viewers on solo traveling if they're doing it or planning to do it for the first time?
Get used to being alone, get used to doing things alone, get used to talking to people. And I feel like the talking part is very important because you need to navigate your way around, right? And sometimes I advise my friends and say like, oh, if you are afraid, just go to even JB is fine.
Or maybe also start with just being alone here. Like eating alone.
Actually.
Because I feel like a lot of people can't really do that. Like even at home.
For me, I think a big part of my traveling experience is meeting people. So I would say like I think in Singapore we're all like very paiseh to like start a conversation with people.
Yeah.
For example, when I stepped into a hostel at the start, I was really scared to go up to people and start the conversation because sometimes when you just see them and they have an RBF, you get really intimidated. But then just try and get over that and then talk to them.
Sometimes we also have RBF, I think.
Yeah,
I definitely
so
have
get
it.
intimidated.
Like,
Oh, okay. I feel like for that, right? One thing that we all have to be comfortable with when we solo travel, or I think just traveling in general, is you need to learn how to not assume at times. Yeah, because if not, you're not gonna get anywhere. Yeah, like sometimes, like for example, let's say asking for directions, right? You look at this guy, he's like very fierce and all. But he can also be the nicest person, you know. But of course, be wary of your surroundings and, you know.
Here's my tip for solo traveling. Trust your gut and spend the money. Because there's so many times where I wanted to do something, but I've been like, it's too expensive. And then I regret it. So now when I travel, right, if I want to do something, I'm just like, I'm going to do it anyway. Because at the end of the day, you never know when you're going to go back to this country. You never know when you're going to experience this again. and you've already spent so much money to travel there.
I would spend money on
Spend
safety for sure.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, just to give myself peace of mind and the people around me peace of mind, I guess. Guys, thank you so much for being with us today. All the best for your next travels, and we'll be keeping tabs on your adventures.
Thank you all so much for tuning in for another episode of Men Explain. If you've not yet subscribed to YouTube, press the button.
Why haven't you?
Yeah, and follow us on all our socials as well, on Instagram and on TikTok.
Yeah, and on all our podcast platforms, Apple Podcasts, Me Listen, Spotify, follow us up there, and we're happy to be a part of your life. Catch you next time.
Bye.
I know zero self-defense. Okay, so I know that I should aim to punch the throat like immediately.
Yes,
like, just
not,
really
not
quickly.
this way.
Oh,
Don't ever
okay,
do that.
like this?
No, as in
like-
just okay, never mind. Yes, the throat is a great way to defend yourself.
I know that. Yeah.